good morning to all. So today we had to focus on the chapter which is I Loved You by Alexander Pushkin. So regarding the author's details, who is Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin from 1799 to 1837, was a Russian poet, playwright and novelist of the Romantic era. He is considered to be the greatest Russian poet and the founder of modern Russian literature. And Pushkin was believed to be incredibly intelligent and started writing his poems at an early age of 14. He wrote his poems in the Russian language and there have been several translations of his poems. So basically, he was a Russian poet, and secondly, he was the novelist of the Romantic era, and he was the founder of modern Russian literature. And Pushkin was believed to be incredibly intelligent and started writing his poems at an early age of 14. He wrote his poems in the Russian language and there have been several translations of his poems. So, regarding the poet, Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin was a Russian poet, playwright, and novelist of the Romantic era. Then he is considered to be the greatest Russian poet and the founder of modern Russian literature. So, he is regarded as the greatest Russian poet as well as he was the founder of the modern Russian literature. So, this is very important regarding the Alexander Pushkin. So, he is considered to be the founder of the modern Russian literature. Then Pushkin was believed to be the incredibly intelligent and started writing his poems at an early age of 14. Then he wrote his poems in the Russian language and there have been several translations of his poems. So basically, most of his poems were wrote in the Russian language and later it was translated into different languages. Then Pushkin used his poems to address his feelings concerning the political views in Russian. So this is also a very important topic regarding the Alexander Pushkin, in which he wrote his poems to address his feelings especially concerning the political views in Russian. So basically his poems were addressed on the basis of these feelings concerning the political views in Russian. Then between 1814 and 1817 he published about 130 poems, and for this the leaders did not like him much. So basically he published 130 poems. So for this reason the leaders in that country, they did not like him much. So basically this signifies that his feelings concerning the political views in Russian were present in his poetry. So because of this, the leaders in that country, they did not like him much. Then regarding the life of Pushkin, he got into great debt because of his wife's luxurious life. Then Pushkin was shot and killed in 1837 by his brother-in-law, whom he suspected of having an affair with his wife when he confronted him about it. Then regarding his major works, it includes the Ruslan and Ludmila, Boris Godunov, the Tales of the Late Ivan Petrovich Belkin, and The Bridegroom. So these are the major works of Alexander Pushkin. The first one is the Ruslan and Ludmila. Then second one is Boris Godunov. Then the third one is the Tales of the Late Ivan Petrovich Belkin, and finally The Bridegroom. So these are some important details regarding the Alexander Pushkin, who is considered as the great Russian poet and also the founder of the modern Russian literature. Now we had to focus on some important details regarding this poem. So this poem, which is I Loved You by Alexander Pushkin, was originally written in the Russian language. So this poem was written in the Russian language, and what we have is the translated version from Russian to English. Then this poem is a kind of interior monologue that reveals the thoughts of the poet about his lost love. So basically this is the interior monologue. And also the second point is that this poem, it reveals the thoughts of the poet about his lost love. So the concept of this lost love is one of the most important theme in this poem. So basically this poem is an interior monologue. Secondly, this poem is about the lost love, especially the thoughts of the poet about his lost love. So now we had focused on this poem, which is I Loved You by Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin. So I loved you and I probably still do, and for a while the feeling may remain. But let my love no longer trouble you. I do not wish to cause you any pain. I loved you, and the hopelessness I knew, the jealousy, the shyness, though in vain, made up a love so tender and so true. As may God grant you to be loved again. So this very short poem of just 8 lines by Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin. So basically, this is the one of the most finest translation of this poem, which is the "I Loved You" from Russian language to English language. So especially today we had focused on this version of this "I Loved You," and also what we have is the another translation of this same poem, which is "I Loved You." So basically, this poem is addressed to the lover of this poet. So the poet is the speaker in this poem. So especially the poet says that. So especially the point that we have to keep in mind that this is the lost love of this poet. So the poet says that I loved you and I probably still do. ഞാൻ നിന്നെ മുമ്പ് സ്നേഹിച്ചിരുന്നു, ഞാൻ ഇപ്പോഴും നിന്നെ സ്നേഹിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. So the title of this poem, it gives a clear idea regarding this whole poem itself. So basically, I love you. It is in the past tense. So I loved you and I probably still do, and for a while the feeling may remain, but let my love no longer trouble you. I do not wish to cause you any pain. So in the first 4 lines, the poet says that he loved this lover and also he probably still do the same. So അവർക്ക് മുമ്പ് ഒരു സ്നേഹമുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, അവരിപ്പോഴും അത് മനസ്സിൽ വെച്ച് നടക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. Then and for a while the feeling may remain. So the feeling of the love, it may remain constant in his mind, which means the poet's mind. But let my love no longer trouble you. I do not wish to cause you any pain. So നിങ്ങൾക്കൊരു വിഷമവും വിചാരിക്കാൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്കൊരു ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടും വരുത്താൻ എനിക്ക് താല്പര്യമില്ല. So basically, I do not wish to cause you any pain. So this signifies the sincerity of love in this poem. So regarding the love between the poet and this lover, their love was very honest. Obviously, it was very sincere, but later it was not in the success. So basically, it signifies the lost love of this poet. So I repeat, I loved you and I probably still do, and for a while the feeling may remain, but let my love no longer trouble you. I do not wish to cause you any pain. I loved you and the hopelessness I knew, the jealousy, the shyness, though in vain, made up a love so tender and so true. So this is about the love between the poet and the lover. എപ്രകാരമായിരുന്നു ഇവിടെ ലവ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്? So basically, I loved you and the hopelessness I knew, the jealousy, the shyness, though in vain, made up a love so tender and so true. So their love was so tender and so true, which signifies the sincerity of the love of the poet, or in a very simple sense, it was the true love by the poet towards the lover. So it is like a one-side love. So the jealousy, the shyness, though in vain, made up a love so tender and so true. So their love was very true. So this signifies that the poet loved this lover very sincerely and honestly, and later this love was in failures. So in the first 4 lines, the poet says that I loved you and I probably still do, and for a while the feeling may remain, but let my love no longer trouble you. I do not wish to cause you any pain. So അത് പറയാണ് ഈ പോയറ്റിൻ്റെ മനസ്സിലുള്ള ലവിനെ പറ്റിയാണ് പറയുന്നത്. സോ ബേസിക്കലി ദിസ് സിഗ്നിഫൈസ് ദി ലോസ്റ്റ് ലവ് ഓഫ് ദിസ് പോയറ്റ്. ഐ ലവ്ഡ് യു ആൻഡ് ഐ പ്രോബബ്ലി സ്റ്റിൽ ഡു, ആൻഡ് ഫോർ എ വൈൽ ദ ഫീലിംഗ് മേ റിമെയിൻ, ബട്ട് ലെറ്റ് മൈ ലവ് നോ ലോnger trouble you. I do not wish to cause you any pain. Then in the second part, I loved you and the hopelessness I knew, the jealousy, the shyness, though in vain, made up a love so tender and so true. So this is regarding their love. So the love between the poet and the lover. So basically, I loved you and the hopelessness I knew. So the hopelessness. So here the hopelessness, it signifies the uncertainty of his love. So basically, I loved you and the hopelessness I knew, the jealousy, the shyness, though in vain. So basically, though in vain, made up a love so tender and so true. So basically, this love was a lost love, but it made up a love so tender and so true. So this is regarding their love. So their love was so tender and so true. So our sincerity ne anoda kanikkunnu. Then the last line. So this is very important regarding this poem. This is the prayer to the God by the poet. As may God grant you to be loved again. So this is a prayer by the poet in which as may God grant you to be loved again. So this signifies the optimistic feeling of this poet towards the lover. So even though he lost his love, he says that as may God grant you to be loved again. ഇനിയും ഒരു നല്ലൊരു സ്നേഹം നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ലഭിക്കാൻ സാധിക്കട്ടെ എന്നൊരു പ്രാർത്ഥനയോടെയാണ് ഈ ഒരു പോയം ഇവിടെ അവസാനിക്കുന്നത്. So as may God grant you to be loved again. So this is the one of the most important aspect regarding this poem. So basically, this is a lost love of this poet, but at the end of this poem, the poet prays that as may God grant you to be loved again. So that's regarding this poem, which is I Loved You by Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin. So this is a very short poem, but it gives a kind of clear idea regarding the lost love of this poet and also the attitude of this poet towards his lost love. And the last line of this poem, it is very important, in which, as may God grant you to be loved again, which is the prayer by the poet to the God. So now we have to focus on another translated version of this poem, which is I Loved You by Alexander Pushkin. So, I loved you, yet the love maybe has not extinguished in my heart. But hence may not it trouble thee, I do not want to make you sad. So this is the first four lines of this poem. So here the thee means you. So I loved you, yet the love maybe has not extinguished in my heart. So here the extinguished means the love of this poet towards this lover is still in his mind. It is still alive. So basically this is a lost love, but this love is in his mind. So I loved you, yet the love maybe has not extinguished in my heart. Then after that, but hence may not it trouble thee. So this signifies that, so the poet, he may not trouble you. So here the you means the lost love, the love of the poet. So basically the poet's love was a lost love. So he says that, but hence may not it trouble you. So he says that I may not trouble you anymore. Then the next line, I do not want to make you sad. So the poet again says that he don't want to make his lover sad. So this signifies that the sincerity of the love of this poet. So he says that I may not trouble you, and later he says that he don't want to make his lover sad. Then coming back to this poem, the second part of this poem, I loved you hopelessly and mutely. So hopelessly means without much expectations. So he says that I loved you. ഞാൻ നിന്നെ സ്നേഹിച്ചിരുന്നു, but hopelessly and mutely. Mutely here means silently. So hopelessly and mutely, both these two signifies the kind of this love towards this lover. So this means that their love was very sincere. So according to the poet, without much expectation, and also their love was in silent. So hopelessly and mutely. So I loved you hopelessly and mutely. Now with shyness, now with jealousy being vexed. So now with shyness, now with jealousy. So both these kinds of things, it signifies the feeling of the love, the shyness and the jealousy, and also it being vexed. So the term vexed means difficult to deal with. So both the shyness and the jealousy, so both these aspects of the love were difficult to deal with. And after that, I loved you so sincerely and so fondly. So he says that I loved you so sincerely, so fondly. So this is the third time in which the poet says that I loved you. So in the first line he says that I loved you, yet the love may be. Then following in the fifth line, he says that I loved you hopelessly and mutely. And in the second last line, the poet again says that I loved you so sincerely, so fondly. So sincerely means the sincerity of his love. Then so fondly means with an affection, which means a kind of liking towards his lover. So fondly and so sincerely, their love was, most importantly, their love was very true, but later it became in vain. So thus their love became in vain. So this signifies that the poet's lost love, the mind of this poets regarding the lost love. Then after that, and finally the last line of this poem, this is the most important topic that we have to keep in mind regarding the prayer of the poet towards the God. So likewise may someone love you next. So this is the prayer of the poet, in which likewise ഞാൻ നിന്നെ സ്നേഹിച്ച പോലെ, likewise may someone love you next. ഞാൻ നിന്നെ സ്നേഹിച്ച പോലെ, ഞാൻ നിന്നെ കരുതിയ പോലെ ഇനിയും ആരെങ്കിലും നിന്നെ സ്നേഹിക്കട്ടെ എന്നൊരു ആശംസയോടുകൂടി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു പ്രാർത്ഥനയോട് കൂടിയാണ് ഈ ഒരു പോയം ഇവിടെ അവസാനിക്കുന്നത്. So basically this signifies the mind of this poet, and also it signifies the sincerity of his love, the poet's love. So basically this is a kind of one-side love towards the lover, and later it became in vain, it became in failure. This signifies that the poet, he loved the lover very sincerely, but it was not successful at the end. So this is regarding this poem, in which the theme of this poem is the lost love of this poet. So today we discussed regarding the I Loved You, which is the poem by Alexander Pushkin. So this is a very short poem of just 8 lines. So go through this poem, and in the next class we will be focusing on the questions from this chapter and also the analysis of this chapter. So that's for today. Thank you. Happy learning.